We're going to dehydrate eggs today.
We don't want to get anybody sick, so the first thing we're going to do is float the eggs, which means we just put them in water like this, and any eggs that float, like this one right here, they're too old and we're not going to use those. Whisking up the eggs would be a perfectly acceptable way to do this, but we have this stick blender that we're just going to whip those up real quick.
We're going to gently pour these into our dehydrator trays. We've got fruit leather trays here. This is 5 eggs, fits in each of the fruit leather trays.
The oil that's already in the eggs is what keeps it from sticking to these trays. Also, it's a good idea to make real sure that these trays are, or that your dehydrator is level.
Now we're going to plug in the dehydrator. Mine doesn't have a temperature setting, so it's just on or off. This is going to take about 10 to 12 hours. We're going to let it run overnight, and we will pick this back up in the morning. Now that they've been dehydrating for 12 hours, we've gone ahead and turned them off. We're going to let them cool. You can see they're completely dry. They just break up like chips.
It can be kind of awkward because of the shape of the tray with a hole in it to get the stuff out without making a mess, but that might be the best way, like that there.
Oh. We're gonna put these into a Ziploc.
So push a lot of the air out, and then we're gonna kind of mush it a little bit. She doesn't think I can do it. So it looks kind of like corn flakes, and then this goes in the freezer.
It goes in the freezer for 1 hour.
For an hour.
And that, basically that stops the cooking process. We've removed this from the freezer. You want to make sure that all of it is cold. That's what stops the cooking process. We're going to put this in the Ninja blender and make a powder out of it. Now that we've got it ground up into a powder, we're going to add in the desiccant pack and pour it into the jar. I'm using the desiccant pack just to make sure there's no excess moisture in it. 15 eggs fits pretty well into a pint-sized jar.
To reconstitute the eggs, we're going to take 2 tablespoons of the whole egg powder that we made. And we're gonna add 2 tablespoons, and this is cold water, 2 tablespoons and 2 teaspoons. Now it's gonna take a minute. It's going to take a few minutes for this to really soak up the water and become scrambled eggs again. Now, you might be asking yourself, why in the world would I want to dehydrate eggs? Well, the reason being, first of all, it saves room. This is going to last a long time in the pantry. It's a whole lot less space. I mean, we just took some powder out of it, but that's 15, you could probably fit, I'd say 18 eggs in a pint jar, easy. You could easily keep that in a Ziploc and take it with you on a camping trip. It'd be a whole lot easier and safer than trying to carry a dozen eggs and not break them. It's perfect for a prepper pantry. These are shelf stable in this state, so you don't need any power to keep those like for freezing. So it's been a few minutes, and you can see that that's basically raw scrambled eggs again. So we're gonna cook that up and give it a try. Now, I'm no proponent for Teflon cookware, but I'll be honest with you, I'm not very good at cooking eggs in cast iron yet. So I'm still doing it in this fashion, but we're gonna take our reconstituted eggs. We've got a little butter melted in the pan already. And you cook this just like you would scrambled eggs. And put a little of our favorite Creole seasoning in there. I could totally see making an omelet with this very easily. That's about it. That's cooked. The trick with the eggs, you undercook them just a little bit because they're going to finish cooking in your plate. Here's the real test. I can tell they're not quite the same, but the taste is good. The texture is a little bit off. But you know what? In a pinch, or when you're out camping or whatever, the ease of use really makes up for that. Totally good in my book.